Hello everybody, welcome to Joffrey Books YouTube channel. Today we are interviewing the wonderful Simon Brett on his newest novel,
Mrs. Presumed Dead.
If you could describe your book using 3 words, what would they be?
I think I would extend the definition of the words with a few hyphens, but the first one would be funny, and the second one would be heartwarming, and the third one with 2 hyphens would be tongue-in-cheek.
Would you get along with your main protagonist? Because some authors won't.
Well, I always find that very odd, because certainly Mrs. Pargeter is absolutely delightful. I mean, I would like her very much. She's mature and she's cuddly, and she had a very happy marriage and is now a widow. So I don't think she'd be very interested in a relationship, but she'd be a wonderful friend to have. And she just has a very direct way, and she's not worried about sort of pampering herself. She likes taking herself out for nice meals and things like that. So I think she'd be a very nice companion.
Oh, I love that. I think I would get along with her quite well.
Oh, I think you would, undoubtedly.
I like
anyone. Everyone gets along with her except vile crooks who she brings to justice.
Which is incredible. She definitely is an interesting woman, especially one who ends up stumbling into these crimes and then solving them.
It's very strange, isn't it, that amateur detectives do that? They keep stumbling over bodies. It's a strange quirk.
I would start to think that I had a bad omen over my head if I kept on running into crimes.
I think you would. Yes, yeah. I think it's a bit of a device of crime writers, actually.
Definitely. So the third question is, if you could have an adaptation of your book, which one would you choose? Would you have a TV show? Would you have a movie, a play, musical, or a comic book?
I think I've had one of my books was made into a movie with Michael Caine, a book called A Shock to the System. I think for Mrs. Pargeter, I think television would be the right medium. Yeah, it's one of those cases where, there have been a few options over the years, but it's never quite happened. Yeah. But I live in hope.
What author, dead or alive, would you like to sit down and have a meal with?
I was thinking about that, and I think the answer is Wilkie Collins, who wrote The Woman in White and The Moonstone, because he was just a fascinating character, and he kind of, is great mate with Charles Dickens, and he really invented the detective story in a way. Yeah. And also he had a very interesting private life in that he managed to live with 2 women at the same time and have sort of families with both. So I'd be intrigued to pick his brains about that as well. Yeah. But I just think he was a wonderfully inventive writer, and I'd be fascinated to pick his brains.
Yes, and figure out, well, did the women know about each other? Did the families know about each other?
I think they must have done towards the end, certainly, yes.
That is honestly fascinating. I did not expect that.
Well, it makes him even more interesting, I think.
So the 5th question is, what are you currently reading/watching? Because as an author, you're always devouring other creative means.
Well, I've greatly enjoyed Ellie Griffith's books, and I've been reading those. But in fact, in terms of watching, I'm afraid we're rather behind on watching the French series Spiral, and getting very near the end of that. And that has 8 series. And it's just wonderful. And you follow the characters through, and we're very near the end, and I think we're going to be very bereft when we get to the end of that. We'll have to find a replacement, but been enjoying that hugely. Yes.
Honestly, it's amazing how you can get so involved into these tropes, and all of a sudden you get to the last episode and you're like, well, what now? What do I do?
Exactly. Yes. What are we going to replace it with?
Thank you so much for doing the segment of 5 questions in 5 minutes. It's an absolute delight having you on.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Sasha.
Thank you all so much for watching this interview with Simon Brett, and don't forget to check out Mrs. Presumed Dead, which is out now. And if you want more incredible books by amazing authors, go and subscribe to our newsletter in the link down below.